You know, the Rhode Show visited Franklin Farm in Cumberland as more than 100 volunteers and students planted seeds for the farm's community garden. Now that the harvesting is completed and 13,000 pounds of produce has been distributed to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank and local food pantries, everyone's efforts turn to the restoration of the farmhouse there. This past Saturday was Make a Difference Day throughout the country. And here to tell us, with volunteers making a difference at the Franklin Farms, is Jarrad Rocheleau, who is the project manager for the restoration, and Denise Mudge, the volunteer director. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Tell me what's going on with this, Denise.
Well, we've over the past summer we've had the community garden that we had 200 different volunteers come out, and it's been an amazing amount of volunteers that have come out over the past summer. In the fall, we did turn around and we looked at the house. The house was built in the 1850s, and we noticed that it's starting to deteriorate. Yeah. So we've contacted Gilbane Building Corporation, and they agreed to volunteer to manage the project for us. Volunteer? Yes. So They gave their time for nothing.
That saved you a tremendous amount of money.
Saved us. There's with this, the economy the way it is, it's really hard to try and get people to pay to save an old house, because it is hard. Economic times are hard. So it was wonderful that Gilbane stepped up.
You know, let me ask you quickly, why did you want to save the old house?
There's a lot of history to it. There's a lot of history to the house in Cumberland. The farm dates back to the Revolutionary War. The first owner was Liberty Metcalf. He was born in 1776. It's passed to another family named the Franklin family, who was the last remaining family. It was also the last farm that was a working farm in Cumberland. So we'd like to save it for the history and for education for future use.
Jarrad, I haven't forgot you. Hold on for 1 second, but I have one last question over here. How is the farmhouse going to be used when it's finally completed?
The farmhouse is going to be used for education. We're really hoping to get a library on the first floor that'll provide information about agriculture and husbandry and environmental science. Over the summers, last 4 summers, we've had classes during the summer, but when it rains, it's really difficult. The kids, we have to cancel class, or you have to have it in the small garage. So it would be wonderful to have classroom space there.
Jarrad, tell me a little bit about the restoration, how it's all going, you know, any problems, or is everything just smooth sailing?
It's going well so far. The biggest thing for us was to get the house sealed up for the winter. As Denise mentioned, it was built in the 1800s, so there were some problems. And when Gilbane was contacted, the first thing that we saw to do was the roof of the house. It had seen better days. So we contacted some local companies, namely Ferreira Home Remodeling out of Cumberland. And they were nice enough to donate their labor after making some calls and getting all the supplies. And we're actually just finishing up today of finishing the roof.
We're running out of time. I want to ask you one last question, because I think this is important. What are the rewards of working on a project of this kind of nature?
Well, it's really great to be involved in the community. I grew up in Cumberland, and it's really nice to be able to give back you know, to the town that you grew up in for such a good cause.
Well, I think that's fantastic, and thank you for both coming in today. We really appreciate it. I know it's a little chilly in here as we got the door open over here. Thanks again. You can find out more about volunteer opportunities in our area by going to foxprovidence.com. Elizabeth?